What's up, guys, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good Thursday. We've got our first OTA patch for the month of June, and hot damn, it's a big one, especially with the big balance patch coming this Tuesday. And oh yeah, Conquest, guys, is now confirmed. We get our newest game mode on June 13th. Now, more on that later, guys. We have 5 cards getting balance changes this update, I would say all of which are impactful and meta relevant. Now, first up, this is probably the biggest change from today. Beast is going from a 2-2 to a 3-4. Now, I don't know if this is a nerf, a side grade, a neutral change. All I know is it's going to definitely change up some bounce decks a little bit in the way that Beast is played. Now, this is definitely going to hurt his combo play potential. Typically in bounce decks, you like to play 1 or even 2 1-cost cards alongside Beast on turn 3 or 4, or hell, even a 2-cost card. That's going to kind of go away a bit more, and indirectly, it's going to hurt cards like Kitty Pryde just a touch. But there's some spiciness to it that I like. First of all, Silver Surfer bounce might be a thing. I kind of like that. But also, I think it's nice that he is getting 4 power. Oftentimes, having just Beast left in that lane, you know, wasn't great. 4 power is a bit more intimidating. And you're still getting the full effect of the ability. It's just a bit of a cost change. So we'll have to see. This will change, again, some of the craziness that happens with combos. Most notably, this card Falcon here that usually reads below it, I'm just a worse Beast, is actually going to have a nice role in bounce decks now and have a use in those decks and play on curve a bit more. So as someone who plays a lot of bounce and does a bunch of theory crafting, it's kind of where I start with in a lot of my decks. I'm going to be interested to see what happens to Beast as a card. Speaking of Silver Surfer, we've got a 3-cost card that is getting a buff in Rogue. She'll be going from a 3-1 to a 3-2, and although that seems pretty small, this is actually much better than you think. Now, I'm a fan of this change because Rogue has always seemed a bit underwhelming. Like, very similar to Venom before his buff, right? Like, the 1 power just, it was a bummer if your opponent didn't have any ongoing cards, and especially, like, compared to Enchantress, who you're most of the time going to pick as a tech card, especially after her buff. Rogue just didn't get a lot of play, and now this 2 power makes her feel a bit better, right? If you can't play her, then fair enough, and if you do play her, you'll have the cards that she steals from, like Devil Dinosaur and Darkhawk, get even bigger when you steal that effect, and if you don't, then she at least has 2 power. And would you look at that, guess who's getting another buff, man? Silver Surfer. There's already like an anti-meta Surfer deck that's pretty good with Rogue that I play a lot, and I planned to play a lot in Conquest. Now it's a no-brainer. I'm excited for the buff to the X-Men. Next up, in Spider-Man season, we have Spider-Man getting a nerf. He is going to be going from a 4-3, guys, to a 5-4, getting both a cost and power increased by 1. I'll be honest, guys, this one is a bit of a head-scratcher for me. Outside of, like, Galactus Spider-Man, I don't know if he needed to be the one that was addressed. I know that lockdown control is really powerful in the meta at the moment, but I don't know if I attribute that to Spider-Man more than some other cards. Now, this is pretty damn big for Spider-Man. First of all, most notably, he's gone from Zabu. The precious cost reduction of Zabu is so huge, but now on top of that, he's going to 5 cost. And this is the worst tier to do cost reduction to. And so Spider-Man is also going to be losing some of his combos, namely playing him on 4 and Professor X on 5. I don't know, guys. I've been thinking this for a long time. Like, we have so many cards with different abilities, and Spider-Man is like one of, if not like the biggest character in Marvel, and his always felt a little like meh. The fact that he's getting just 1 power, but he's getting a full cost increase, really like 2 because of the whole Zabu thing. Like, we have cards that are like way down the totem pole of badass Marvel characters that have better abilities and are more unique than Spider-Man. So personally, I think he needs a complete rework. I don't know. This could just be me. What do you guys think? Next up, we have another kind of neutral change in terms of balance, and it's going to highlight what a card does well while simultaneously making it a bit riskier to play. The Hood is going from a 1-2 to a 1-3. Now, most of the time, you're looking to destroy the Hood. You're looking to bounce it, bastarded it. That's not a word, but you get what I mean. You're trying to get rid of the Hood when you play him. But most notably, Viper. Now, if you're like a junk or toxic player, you know the combo all too well. Essentially, Viper's going to be sending a green goblin to the other side. That boils down to a 9-point power difference when you play the demon down. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a nerf for the Hood, just a small bit. You don't want to play him in, like, I don't know, null decks. Definitely don't want him now. Bounce, Hit Monkey is going to hurt. Like, sometimes you play the Hood's -2 down, you know, no big deal. Shauna somehow gets even worse. Overall, it boils down to if you pull your combo pieces, great. If you don't, you can't rely on the Hood now just doing everything for the deck. Ultimately, because of his kind of versatility, it feels like the Mysterio change that they did a while back. Now, we have one last balance to talk about, and I am willing to bet that for most of you, this has got to be a card that you haven't played ever, or just very few since like the day one of Snap. You downloaded the game. Medusa. Yes, Medusa is getting a change that has been talked about on the Snapchat, I mean, months ago. Why not just give her one extra power? And here's the thing, right? Because she would be pretty crazy at that point. She'd be, what, a 2/5? She'll be going from a +2 to a +3 when you play her in the middle, meaning she will be a dependable, pretty much 2/5. Like Lizard is a 2/5 that can go down to a 2/1. This is going to be a very easy to pull off 2/5. Guys, honestly, I think she's going to go from being unplayed to being played a fair amount. Like, 2 costs now have a lot of cards that work within the cost tier that it can be pretty competitive. I like the change. This is a change that I enjoy. In an OT update where, like, more nerfs were given probably than buffs, this is something that I like to see from a card that virtually gets no play. I could have sworn this game was going to die before she got a buff. Yeah, color me excited for next week, guys. We get the big balance changes in a few days, which typically makes these changes make a lot more sense. We have the new game mode, the bounce changes is going to spark some new meta stuff right when Conquest drops, and so that's pretty exciting as well. If you have no idea what the hell Conquest is, you can check this video right here. And as always, guys, until the next one, happy snapping.